Hey everyone, welcome. I just wanted to take a few moments to introduce you to this super cool loan guy that I work with all the time, Stan Hartzheim with Double H Loans. Stan and I have done a ton of deals together, helped our clients in a lot of different scenarios, and just wanted to take an opportunity to introduce him to you and have you learn a little bit about him. So with that, I'd love to turn it over to Stan. Give us a little bit of background of why you got into the mortgage industry. That probably is a great start.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks, Denise, for that nice introduction. So my name is Stan Hartzheim with Double H Home Loans, and I have been a loan originator since 2017. Now a branch manager of Double H Home Loans, part of a bigger company, Southwest Funding, out of Dallas, Texas. And I guess the reason that I got into lending in the first place is in some way, shape, or form, I've been responsible for helping people get into housing almost my entire life. I was a home builder and remodeler for a while. I ran a nonprofit organization for a while that was dedicated to the aging in place movement and helping people stay in their homes. And when I was no longer able to carry a tool belt and do that physical labor, I was looking for other ways to still interact with folks and help them get into homes. And with a background as a business owner and whatnot, the numbers side of things just kind of came naturally. So here I am.
So that's one of the things that is great working with Stan is he's so detail oriented and looks at a lot of different scenarios for our clients to make sure that the options are there for them. Stan, you also have quite a few certifications and been able to diversify the types of clients you work with. Give us a little bit of background about the certifications that you have and where you can help people in different areas.
Yeah, when you become a mortgage loan officer, you do have to take a variety of classes and then take a test. It is a challenging test, I suppose, but it doesn't require a degree like becoming a CPA or anything like that. And so I always felt like maybe the bar to entry for mortgages was a little low. Like I think we could raise the bar a little bit. And so I sought out some additional trainings and became a certified mortgage advisor through the MBS Highway program. And I think that has really given me a good foundation on how the mortgage industry is priced, how interest rates work, how it's relative to the overall financial markets. And then it also gives me, I think, a more holistic view on how to help clients rather than just saying, well, we can get to the lowest interest rate, humanly possible. It's going to cost you a whole lot of money to do so. Maybe there's a different strategy that makes more sense given their place in life right now. So whether they want to hold on to more cash and maybe have a little bit higher monthly payment or vice versa, we can really look at that holistically. The other thing that I've done is become a certified divorce lending professional, a CDLP, and that really was born out of I had a variety of clients come to me in a really short period of time. It's kind of how the universe and God works. I think they put stuff in your pathway for you to trip over and then see where your weaknesses are. Not necessarily your own weaknesses, but weaknesses within the system. And so as a CDLP, what we say collectively as a group of CDLPs is we try to lean into the intersection of the divorce, one of the most difficult times that someone might go through in their life, and how that is affected by divorce law or family law, tax consequence, what a CPA or a certified divorce financial analyst, a CDFA, might work towards to help your tax situation, and then where that all intersects with mortgage lending regulation. And what I found was if we can get in front of the attorney whose sole responsibility really is just to divide up the assets, they kind of don't care. I don't want to say they don't care. I mean, most attorneys care about their clients, but they care less about how that gets done than just getting it done. And they don't necessarily look at things like time horizon and so on. So it's a much more black and white for them. If I can get in front of that attorney early in the process and see where from a lending standpoint their file might become tricky, we can address those on the front end. So for example, one thing that we deal with a lot is people that might receive child support or spousal maintenance. They have to have been receiving that for a period of time before it becomes income that can be used in the transaction. If the attorney knows what that time frame is, he can make sure that he puts the deadlines, if you will, for something to happen with the house, the biggest asset usually that's being divided in that divorce. He can put that timeline out far enough that it allows us to use that income, instead of just saying, hey, by the end of the year, we have to do this. Well, by the end of the year, that person might not qualify to be able to do that. So we kind of step out and try to get into the intersection of those various different things so that we have better outcomes for all parties.
Well, as you can tell, Stan's incredibly knowledgeable about a bunch of different areas. What I love most about working with him is his consultative nature in helping clients. And I think, Stan, you are a great problem solver, and trying to figure out exactly what the key options are for the different clients in their different scenarios, and not looking at a cookie cutter approach. What would you say is your favorite part about working with clients?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a bit of a conundrum, right? Mortgages on the surface seem very black and white. That's, the numbers and they're set in stone, but the reality is that's far from the truth. And so I think my favorite thing is of what I get to do is to sit down across the table or across the desk, or over Zoom, and talk with these clients and really dig into what their situation is and what their goal is, and then use a really creative approach to problem solving. How do we get from, point A to point B? And so being a creative thinker and a problem solver, I think really helps, other than to say, today at this point in your life, this is what your financial situation is and this is what you can qualify for. How do we actually take today's qualification and paint that part of a bigger picture plan so that 5 years from now or 3 years from now or whatever it is, you end up where you wanted to end up with. Very, very few people have ever called me and said, I desperately really want to get a really big loan. What they're really saying is, I really want to get a great house.
Yeah.
And how do I get to this house? And is it a one-step process, or is it a multi-step process where maybe you have to buy a starter home and then trade up later? Or maybe you're at a season in life where you need a big house for your big family, but you know that in a few years you're going to need to downsize. And how does that affect your overall financial health? So we really, I love that. I love that synergy of working with the borrower or with the family and coming up with the right solution that will meet their long-term needs.
I think that's an incredibly important point. Not everybody's ready at the same time, and not everybody's ready for what they think they want at the same time. And I've learned that working with Stan, that we don't necessarily always solve a problem immediately. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work, and but we do ultimately get to that resolution for those clients. And that to me is so rewarding when you see somebody get to a point where they are able to act on a goal that they've had, and that you're able to help them guide with that. So I really appreciate your time today, Stan. Is there anything else you'd love to share before we close out our time here together?
Well, obviously, I hope your viewers of this interview can tell I'm pretty passionate about trying to help people. I am also well, I don't know how to word it. I guess I'm a pretty low pressure guy. I'm fairly laid back. And so what I really like people to know is that whether they work with me or they're working with somebody else, if there's questions in the process that they need answers to, I'm always available to answer questions on behalf of folks. And obviously I'm in the business to sell home loans, and I want to work with as many people as possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone that I talk to becomes a client of mine. Sometimes they just need feedback for their current situation. And I'm always happy to give them that feedback and try to give them solutions to work with the team they're already working with as well. So I just really think that that's important for people to know that I'm here to be a resource for them and for our community.
Well, that's awesome. And I couldn't be more thrilled to have Stan as a partner. Like I said earlier, we've worked together very closely to help many, many clients achieve their goals in home ownership or refinance. I've certainly referred people to Stan if they're looking at refinancing a loan that maybe wasn't right for them and in their current situation. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Denise.
Take care.